Hello and welcome to the COP28 live updates and interviews as well. We're really looking forward to bringing to you some really amazing guests right live from the COP28. Charles Appleby, who will also be joining us today, and of course, sharing his lovely wisdom and knowledge about the environment field. He's from the Saving Our Planet, doing amazing work with many initiatives relating to the environment. I'm Hani Kalaria here. I'm the district chair for the Rotary. And of course, Rotary is one of the biggest organizations when it comes to voluntary work and professional members. There are 1.4 members around the world who are out there doing great work in the, I would say, communities. So I'm very proud to be one of those, trying my best with any little efforts that we can make towards making this world a better place. We now move on to perhaps inviting Charles, my wonderful co-host. Hello, Charles. Hello, and join us, I would say. How are you, Charles, for today?
Good morning, honey. I'm good today. I'm so pleased that you're one of Rotary's 1.4 million members. But in terms of today, we're at a critical, absolutely critical day in terms of the COP28 process. So important is our theme, as you see, can the world keep 1.5 degrees within reach? This is really being decided today and tomorrow. It's very much in the balance, very much in the balance. I'm really pleased that to see that Kathy Orlando is able to join us, because Kathy Orlando's very senior member with Citizens Climate Lobby. And excellent to have you on board here to give your views. Hopefully you're not actually in that canoe in Dubai, but back over to Honey to introduce everybody.
Thank you so much. Of course, today, as I mentioned, Charles, we have some amazing guests who are joining us. And I mentioned to you about the Rotary organization. Well, these are people who have been, I would say, leaders in this particular field. They've been doing amazing work. They're also running this the pavilion at the COP28, the Rotary Pavilion, making sure that many speakers are being invited to share their knowledge and educate the public about many different topics relating to the environment. And I believe we have Judith Dement, who's just joined us at the moment. Let me see, before I go on to Kathy Orlando and maybe speak to also Stefan, let's see if we can add our lovely Judith here. Hello, Judith. Whilst Judith is hello. Okay, so whilst they're setting up themselves, Kathy, let's get you on board. Let's see how you are today. Hello, Kathy Orlando.
Hi, greetings. Yes. Am I unmuted?
Yeah, no, you're fine. You're looking great. I can see you're enjoying the lovely hot weather there with your lovely sunglasses and looking great. What are you doing in the COP28 and what do you do, Kathy?
Well, at COP28, I am an observer. And what do I do? I am the director of program at Citizens Climate International, and I support climate advocates in over 75 countries in their work in building political will for a livable world, which includes lobbying politicians, if they can, in their countries, as well as bringing evidence-based and socially just climate policies to their communities.
Wow, this is amazing work. And how have you found COP28 to be for you? Has there been any kind of progress? Has there been any really nice positive things that we can celebrate today?
Well, it's potentially the last 18 hours and we still have phase out on the table, which I didn't think would happen. I thought phase out was going to die pretty early on. So fossil fuel phase out is still on the table, which is pretty much a miracle. Yeah, there's a lot of good things happening here. Initiatives that are being built around food and food finance as well, because not only do we need fossil fuel phase out, we need to be able to feed the people. And during this time of affordability crises due to climate change, due to the war that are happening, and as well as due to various other reasons, pollution pricing, we need to make sure that people have food. And there's initiatives happening here at COP around food as well that were very interesting.
Oh, that's great. And I also heard that there are many new topics on the table even this year, because I believe that health and certain topics that weren't discussed previously, and also the youth seems to be quite a important area this time around. Is that right? Did you find that yourself?
Yes, the youth voices get elevated year after year. My first COP was in 2017, and there was barely any youth present. And then in 2018, Greta Thunberg was in Katowice, Poland, at the COP there. And all of a sudden, the youth burst onto the scene. Last year, a youth pavilion was built at COP27 in Sharm el Sheikh. And this year, there's just a lot of youth here. You can really feel their presence, and they make a huge difference. They are the future, and we need to be working with them and listening to them.
Oh, that's brilliant. And any kind of things, that key message that you would like to share? We're just going to go off to, I believe, Neil, who's joined us here, Judith Dement, we've got Neil Dine, and of course, we have a few other guests who are joining us. So before we go on to them and come back to you as well, Kathy, is there any key messages that you yourself have, are going to go back home with?
That we need a fossil fuel phase out. We need a global treaty to get off of fossil fuels. We need to also bring in with that. And to do that, we need money. Okay, so we need to get rid of the bad subsidies that are our governments to make polluters pay. We need to restructure our financial systems so that they don't finance our destruction. So those are my messages. And at the very core of that, all must be all human rights, and we must listen to each other. So thank you very much for this opportunity to speak.
Wow, Kathy, very nice. If you're around, please stay there, because we may be able to ask you a couple more questions, because you have such an interesting background and also a very important role that you're playing within this field. And we need many more such leaders, I believe, so we can move. There are many areas that have to be dealt with in this field. So it's wonderful to have leaders like yourself joining us. Thank you. And we shall be speaking to you very shortly. We're moving on to Neil Van Dyne. Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from whichever part of the world you're from. Joining in, I believe you're from COP28, so it must be Dubai time, right?
That's correct. Yes, it is Dubai time here. I'm Neil Van Dyne. I live and work in the country of Haiti. But I'm here with the Rotary delegation to COP28 this last week.
Oh, wow. And Haiti, and what do you do exactly? What is your role, and what organization do you represent?
I'm here with Rotary International. I am a Rotarian, and I am the immediate past chair of the WASH Rotary Action Group. But in Haiti, I've worked with water, sanitation, and community development for the last 35 years.
Wow, 35 years. That's wonderful. Today we're going to have an amazing treat for our audiences, our global audiences, because we have some amazing Rotarians or leaders who've been working in the field for so many years, been a member for many years, and you'll get a real sneak preview about the kind of work that takes place through the Rotary and, of course, all the other organizations. So, Neil, can you please tell us a little bit about how do you feel environment and water, sanitation and food, and can you tell us a little bit about how important all these linked subjects are, and what kind of messages can we give to our global audiences?
Sure. I'm particularly sensitive to this issue, and my adopted country of Haiti has been truly devastated by environmental impact. The deforestation of the country has caused floods. The increase in major storm events has killed thousands of people over the last 15 and 20 years, and it's just wrought with issues. And it's we have to. I don't know if we're beyond hope, but we have to create systems that can mitigate and adapt to these new conditions. While we do whatever we can to phase out fossil fuels, we need to keep adapting and keep building resilient systems. So in Haiti, that's what we do. We work with communities and the government to build resilient water systems that are managed, that have revenue, that can that can be repaired rapidly in the event of a disaster.
Wow, this is great. I'm going to bring in Charles, from Saving Our Planet, to see what do you feel about this, Charles? Do you have any pressing questions that you'd like to ask Anil? Because you're also working within the Amazon forests and really, really keen to support some of these, I would say, other parts of the world, which are really one, because we only have one Mother Earth. So we all should be looking after the whole world, really. Charles, do you have any points here that you'd like to share?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm totally with Kathy Orlando and Neil here on the importance of a commitment to phase out fossil fuels. Everyone across the world needs to do their bit. And for fossil fuel companies just to say, oh, well, we only provide fuel companies and countries, just to say, oh, well, we only provide the fossil fuels that people need, is for me opting out of the whole thing. We all need to do our bit. Now, if you're a fossil fuel company, some of them have got a lot of money, they could actually do something different. They could move into renewables. They could move into nuclear, renewables, etc., etc. But the question I've got for Neil, you've chosen to work in such a difficult country in Haiti, with the deforestation and the terrible situation there. If we look at some other countries in the world, countries in the Caribbean and Africa and whatever, what's the sort of general message do you feel for them that they can do, they should be doing to make a difference, and how can the rest of the world help them to achieve what they need to do?
Sure. Well, through Rotary and the WASH Rotary Action Group, we actually provide support to quite a few projects around the world. And I use the term projects only in the connotation that we really want to be doing programs, because a single project does not really have the ability to adapt to changing conditions. It's only by dealing with programs that are looking at long-term impacts that include multiple projects that can move us in that direction. So, I think Haiti is a proving ground for difficult situations. Pretty much everything you could stir into one pot happens in Haiti. So if we can create solutions that work in Haiti, really and truly, we can create solutions that will work anywhere.
Perfect. Okay.
Yes.
So, Honey, as you know, myself, I'm working on planting trees on indigenous land in the Brazil Amazon rainforest. Now, as picking up on Neil's point, this is a project, but absolutely it can be rolled out to be a program with many, many phases across many similar countries. But back over to you, Honey.
Thank you so much. Yes, very nice. So Haiti could be another area that we could be supporting as well. Neil, we'll be coming back to you, and we'll have a few more questions. So we're going to bring Judith on board. Judith Demento is also part of our Rotary group, and she is an amazing leader at the moment, I have to say. Hello, Judith. How are you?
Hi, Helen.
You've had a real tremendous role here at the COP28, looking after the Rotary Pavilion, ensuring we have amazing guests who are joining us, and also educating and informing the public, collaborating for projects, all sorts of things. First of all, can you give our audiences a little bit of your background, and then perhaps share how has it been so far at the COP28?
Thank you, Holly, and very nice to see you this afternoon. Thank you for having us on your webinar. Yes, I'm Dean of the Rotary Representatives to the United Nations, and that's why we're at COP28. We have 31 ambassadors who are all Rotarians to United Nations agencies and international organizations. And of course, COP28 is the largest UN global event. And so that's why we're here and why I'm leading Rotary's delegation. And I've drawn on the strength of the representatives network to develop with my program director, Chris Patrick, who's also with us this afternoon, to develop a program with global leaders speaking at our sessions. And you mentioned that this year, it isn't just climate and environment, and you're absolutely right. We've had 10 themed days, and Rotary has run 3 sessions on each of those days. So we've covered health, peace, water recovery, intergenerational approach to climate, bringing in youth energy transition, circularity. We've had mental health discussions, urbanization, transport, innovation. We've had a whole raft of presentations with global leaders speaking on these topics. It's been truly inspirational. And I think one of the key things coming out of it for us, and one of the reasons we're here, is to develop partnerships so that we can do even more projects and have even more impact around the world of the kind that Neil was just explaining, of the work that the Wash Rag is doing in Haiti. I would say that three things have struck me at this. This is my third COP leading Rotary's delegation, but of course it's the first time that we've had a pavilion, and it's been the most wonderful experience. And looking around at other pavilions and talking to people and talking to some of our speakers, three things are clear to me, and I'm optimistic. Of course, we have to stop fossil fuels, but we can't stop it tomorrow because we all depend on fossil fuels and the world will grind to a halt. But there is a massive global effort in finding renewable energy. There's a huge amount of research going on, which has been very evident here, huge amount of innovation, and also a lot of investment. But of course, it's never enough. But there is, I'm optimistic. And I was particularly taken, we had a speaker from, we had the CEO of Siemens speaking at one of our sessions on innovation. And he gave us a wonderful presentation of really groundbreaking, revolutionary ideas which really can turn these things around. And I would urge anybody that is still at COP28 to go and have a look at the Siemens stand. They've got a farm that is all done with using 95% less water, no pesticides, producing 2 million tons of food from a very small area. It's revolutionary what they're doing. And they've got a lot of other examples. So I'm optimistic. But it's also been a great opportunity for Rotary to meet with governments. We've had speakers from the UAE, from Haiti, from the UK, Barbados, Suriname, Uganda. And last night, Chris and I were at a really good food event. Food has really come to the fore, like health, at this COP. And the Minister for Development from Norway was there, promoting and supporting food. But of course, Norway is also a very big supporter of our polio eradication program. So it was lovely meeting up with her again. And one of the things that pleased me this year is that December the 3rd was dedicated to health. And we ran 2 health sessions on our own pavilion, but I was also privileged to attend the Reaching Last Mile Forum, which is a global forum headed up by the ruler of the UAE and Bill Gates and WHO. And there was a pledging moment which raised over $700 million, mainly this year for non-communicable diseases, but it also included 100 million from the Islamic Development Bank for polio in Pakistan. One of the exciting activities on our stand was the signing of a memorandum of understanding between the Mississippi River's agencies and all the mayors along the Mississippi River, together with the Ganges River in India and mayors from there. So we had the coming together from 2 continents, setting up a partnership to make sure that our rivers are clean and provide everything that communities need. It was a very exciting, actually historic moment. And it's taken a lot of work by some of my Rotary colleagues to bring that together, Salvador Ricci in particular. So we've had an incredible week. It's enabled Rotary to partner with organizations that have probably never heard of us, and to discover that we've got a lot in common and we can work together. We had the presidents of the IEEE, the International Engineering Association, and also the president of the Institution of Electronics and Technology. They were both here speaking at our sessions. And it's very clear there is a lot that Rotary could do working with them. So it's been a really successful 2 weeks. We've met, one of the really great pleasures is that we've probably met more than 100 Rotarians who are here either with their companies, their organizations, and didn't know that we were here, and came across the fact that Rotary had a presence at COP28. So that was has been very heartwarming.
That's brilliant, Judith. And also all the things that you mentioned as well, the wonderful, the memorandum of understanding it seems like progress. And I believe that these events like COP28 are very important for more people to attend, I believe, so that more dialogue and more, discussions can take place, and also arriving at some solutions, because this is the way forward. Otherwise, the world, I don't know where we would be going. And the positive the things that you've spoken about, the innovation, the invention, the investments, the 3 I's, as I would see it as, that's also sounds really, really promising. So that's a really great thing. And I'd like to congratulate you, because we've heard so much about the Rotary Pavilion, that it's doing such a fantastic job there at the COP28, educating the audiences and talking about many, many different topics. Judith, I wanted to bring on board Charles. Yes.
Can I just mention one other thing that we tried to do at this COP? As we all know, youth are incredibly important, and they have the most to lose if we don't get control of the climate crisis. And so we made a special effort for COP28 to bring in our youth arm, Rotaractors, from around the world. We ran a competition, and we've got 12 young Rotaractors from all around the world. And they are the brightest and the best, I can assure you. And they've been working with a group of about 12 Rotaractors in Dubai. They've also been running their own sessions in the Green Zone. We've had an interaction with them. We've all met with them and had discussions with them. And also some of them were able to come into the Blue Zone with us, because they were actually here with their own country delegations. And I took one to the Commonwealth Secretariat Pavilion, because they had, this was on Youth Day, they had 2 very important announcements. They announced the Commonwealth Climate Youth Report, which is the first time that they've done that. And also they announced a new initiative, which is a new Commonwealth Youth Oceans Group. And we can encourage young people from all the Commonwealth countries, from our Rotaract clubs in Commonwealth countries, to join this Oceans Group, for those that have an interest in preserving our oceans, which of course is vital for all of us.
Okay.
Charles, I think Charles seems to have a question before we move on to Chris as well. And of course, do stay on if you can, because we have a few more questions, I'm sure, pressing questions. Charles, did you have anything to ask Judith?
Sure, Judith, thank you very much for that update, because it's difficult to see from the mainstream news reporting the sort of thing that you're talking about, and the sort of progress and interaction and involvement that you're talking about here. But one of the symptoms of all of these COP meetings is that there's typically a lot of announcements, a lot of discussion about progress. But the progress overall has never been enough. It's never been enough to catch up with the top aim of 1.5 degrees max. So, Judith, my question to you is, from what you've seen at COP28, what are sort of 1 or 2 of your top areas that you believe the world should really be focusing on in order to achieve faster progress?
Well, I think, first of all, I wouldn't believe everything you read in the media. I think the media has an agenda to be incredibly negative, actually. And I'm speaking from having someone who's had a career in communications and public relations. And I have to say, at this moment in time, I'm very disappointed with the media reporting. They always pick up on the negative, and they never pick up on positive things that are happening. I'm greatly encouraged by the number of heads of government that came here and have committed to the various resolutions. And I think there is a lot of pressure on governments now to, if they make a pledge here to support it, they're under a lot of pressure to actually do it. And I think they've had a sort of strapline here, which is all about action. You know, it's no good point. We're not just coming here to talk. We're coming here to unite and to act. And I am confident that we will make much more progress, maybe in the next 12 months, than we've made in previous years. Because the urgency is there. I think there is a sense of urgency now. which maybe was lacking previously.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. Back over to you, Hani.
Thank you so much. So, dear Charles, that was really great. Let's move on to Chris as well, because we have Christopher Putter is here. He's from SRAG. So, Judith, we're coming back to you very shortly, and we're moving on to Chris. Chris, hello. And how are you? Live from COP28? Muted? You're on mute. Thank you.
Yes, it is not a drag, it's not wash rag, it's not any rags.
I think okay, we're having a little bit of a technical difficulty there hearing you. So Chris, I'm just going to move back to Neil, if possible, here. I think there's some sound quality issues there, Chris. So Neil, we come back to you. So Neil, we talked about Judith, of course, sharing such amazing information about the Rotary Pavilion at the COP28. Tell us a little bit about, what did you think? How did the audience react? Do you feel that they had, accepted the information in a very positive way? What is the atmosphere like at the moment with the audience members?
Right. So I realized Chris got cut off there. We want to make sure that everyone knows that this is not SRAG or WashRag hosting the summit here. This is a Rotary International event here at COP28. So, but to answer your question, I think in all the Rotary events I've attended, the level of speakers and the quality of speakers that we had in our 30 some odd sessions over the last 10 days were absolutely incredible. Chris and the team here put together just an amazing set of presentations, 3 a day, every day, that really, really rocked the world. We had everyone from CEOs. I think we even had a general from a country one day there, and every single presentation wound up with somebody coming back to us saying that of all the things that they visited, out of all the presentations they went to, the sessions at the Rotary International Pavilion were the most progressive.
Oh, wow. And I also find that what you're just saying just now about the progressiveness about Rotary, you said 35 years you have been part of Rotary. Over these years, there's been many, many projects, of course, and programs that we get involved in. But what about the environment? Oh, wonderful.
Chris here.
So let me come on Neil's computer. So I really want to I started off my introduction by saying this is not SRAG, this is not WashRag, it is none of the rags. This is actually Rotary at COP28. So we've all taken off our different hats from our Rotary action groups. We are Rotary. And so I just really want to make that point. We are Rotary. Now, the thing that I want to really impress is that most people around the world have no idea what COP is about. COP is actually 5 different things that are going on. There is the big room that has the 198 different countries that are talking about what is happening in their countries and how they want to bring together a negotiation towards various things that they have decided through the global stocktake in the last year that they want to move forward. Secondly, there are side events for those 198 countries. They are people that are then talking in their own rooms about how to move forward with various aspects of those different agendas that they have. And then there's another room that's actually dealing with all of the documentation that has come forward in the last year, and they are negotiating which words are going to be in that document that is going to be agreed on these last couple of days of COP. So these are 3 different things that are going on, 3 different arenas that are happening within COP. Most people don't get that. And then there are the rest of us that are all in the blue zone. These people I've been talking about are all in the blue zone as well. We are now in the blue zone. We are talking about who we are bringing as representatives to the COP to talk about how we can negotiate with different organizations, how we can collaborate, how we can build a better synergy between so many organizations. And then outside of that, there's the green zone. And so this is a fifth element where the green zone is essentially all of those people that are unable to be delegates can get together and talk. And not necessarily they can be delegates, they could be delegates if they actually approach UNFCCC to get that delegation, but they want to work in the green zone with the general populace that are coming through for COP. So essentially we have 5 different arenas that are working together. And so when asked for what is coming out of COP, you're actually asking what is happening in different places within COP. And you have to understand that this is what's going on.
Wow.
As a program manager for our Blue Zone, what we've done is use the themes that have been put to us for the COP for this year, and there are around about 25 different themes. We have broken those down in our pavilion into 30 different breakout sessions, and then we've had several breakout sessions in the green zone where we were not able to get the delegates into the blue zone to have them those in the blue zone. And most of our Rotary actors, as Judith was mentioning, we're actually operating really intensely within the green zone. We're working around all of those pavilions and arenas that were in the green zone. And this COP is quite different from any previous COP. It is in an expo city, and so everything is separated. Everything is really quite remote from each other. People are walking on really wide corridors. They have to know exactly what event that they want to go to in advance. They're spending a long time to get between different arenas. Anyway, so that's all sort of the logistics that are going on. I just want to make sure that everybody sort of gets into an understanding of what is actually happening at COP. It's not quite, it's nothing like what people really understand. What's coming out of the news is actually coming out of those first 2 arenas that I was talking about at the beginning.
That's wonderful, because the way you've explained everything is so brilliant, because people who are not there at the moment and who should be encouraged to perhaps join the next COP, whichever the COPs are, I believe that our aim is to get more dialogue going on, more action taking place as well. So it's not just talk, we're moving it onto the action part as well. Now, you're also ESRAG, and you represent the Environmental Sustainability and Rotary Action Group. Can you tell us a little bit about how important it is for organizations such as yourself to get involved in the environment area, and at the same time lead some of these big programs?
I just want to come back to this. I am, in fact, I was a past chair of ESRAG several years ago. I'm now a senior advisor to ESRAG. I do not have connection with ESRAG every day. My role within the Rotary Action Groups is the chair of the Rotary Action Groups Council. And so what I do is actually work towards breaking down the silos between the 25 action groups that we have now. So in terms of what we've done at COP is bring various members from Rotary Action Groups. These are Rotarians that are acting as what you know as a Rotary Action Group. Member of a Rotary Action Group has an emphasis on a particular issue. But what we do at COP is actually leave the hat of our action group on the door. So in terms of, you're asking me questions about what's happening in ESRAG. I'm not in charge of ESRAG. I've been out of having that role for several years. I work on the side of that.
Right. So the more important thing I just wanted to share with our audiences out there are many action groups within Rotary. So that it's really, really important that if you're interested in a particular area of like the oceans that the Judith mentioned, then it'll be wonderful that you can connect with some of the Rotary Action groups and support, and you will get a whole load of other members, like-minded people who care about a cause that you perhaps are passionate about. So thank you for that, Chris. And Chris,
okay, I just want to say, if you're interested in oceans, then you've got WashRag and SRAG that are interested in oceans. Then if you're interested in anything to do with SRAG, then you're more likely to be talking about economic development as well. So you've got some environment area, and you're working with people that are on the land. You're building into projects that are associated with the land. That's associated with economic development. It's also associated with education. It's also associated with peace and conflict resolution, because they're all, basically everything to do with wars in the world right now is all basically deep in its roots to do with who controls resources. And so just to be sure that when we're talking about how to move forward with climate change and the biodiversity crisis and the pollution crisis that we have, they're all so integrated. We cannot just say one is more important than the other, or it has more emphasis than the other. We are all in this together. We are Rotarians, all trying to resolve the issues that we have.
Absolutely. What a wonderful thing that you just shared. Charles, any pressing questions from your side before we move on?
Thank you, Honey. Thank you, Chris, for all of this, and many congratulations on organising these 3 events a day over 10 days with all your wonderful high-level speakers. It sounds absolutely amazing to have achieved that. Now, from all of this, to try and get a better world, what would you highlight here are things that more people need to be doing that comes out of the discussions? What are the most important things that are coming out of all of this from yourself, Chris?
So the most important things that I see are the people working together, collaborating with each other. And for certain within Rotary, where we want to position ourselves is at a higher level within corporations, so that we actually can help steer the ship rather than fire missiles over the bow to say you're going in the wrong direction. And I've been using this illustration for quite some time. We need to be tugs in the harbor, moving the big ships around in the right direction, rather than saying you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. We've got to say we have to work with you to make you into a better cooperator with the world that we have, to make it more sustainable, so that we have a sustainable future and a sustainable livelihood for the future for people as they we've got young people that are growing up into a world that it's going to be quite different in the future when we get past 1.5 degrees, which is not going to be so many years away.
Amazing analogy about the tug steering the ship. Now, we've had a discussion earlier in the week, Chris, where the focus of really business on making money, continuing to pump fossil fuel, continue to pump oil and gas, all of these sort of things came to the fore. I mean, with the argument that things are not just about money, can you give us some ideas about the way in which these big businesses are willing to respond to some of you pushing around with the tugs? I mean, what are the sort of things that they're willing to do that they might not do on their own that you can help them with, Chris?
Well, certainly one of the things is for these organizations to recognize how they can work towards better solutions. And I see, just like Morris Cigarette Company 70 years ago was told that cigarette smoking caused lung cancer, they then started to move away to diversify into other things, so they didn't have to be producing cigarettes and so now we're actually asking oil companies to say, what are you going to do with the oil? You're going to keep pumping it until nobody else asks for oil. that is going to be the way the world is. So what we have to do with those companies is say, okay, how are you going to capture the carbon ahead of anybody else using it? So rather than pumping gas out into cars, let's find a different way of propelling vehicles. And obviously, we've been talking about electric vehicles and using solar for that. But there are other mechanisms that have been around for more than a decade, and more than a century even, like using hydrogen. And so it's a little bit more expensive right now to convert oil to hydrogen, but this is a way of the future, I think. So having hydrogen vehicles, everybody says how expensive they are to make conversions from vehicles the massive fleet that we have out there right now of vehicles, to convert them back to something that is something that's a different propulsion. And
Sure.
Last year I was hearing quite a bit about moving over to hydrogen propulsion, and now I think that's going to be the way of the future for a lot of fossil fuel companies, particularly oil and gas. Coal, we can talk about coal. Coal is going to be continued to be produced by countries that have coal. Until there's no coal left to be produced, they're just going to keep exporting it until there's no need. It's always based on the need. Somebody's going to be calling for gasoline, and how are you going to deliver it?
Okay, thank you. Well, I'm going to hand back to Honey, but just before I do that, my own passionate subject is around planting trees and around the potential for carbon credits to remove CO2 from the air. And one of the reasons I'm passionate about this is because it actually enables poor communities in the global south to get out of extreme poverty. So there's a potential of planting billions of trees and getting hundreds of thousands and millions of people out of extreme poverty. So back over to Honey.
Thank you so much, Charles. I was just going to bring Judith back on as well, because Judith has been working with many of the Rotary leaders and people involved in this particular field, as well as, of course, all the special guests. So Judith, you also have a PR background and a media background, especially you were one of the very important, I would say, members involved in the eradication of polio when it came to the media. So, Judith, is there anything you could say in terms of media, how the media can be utilized to bring out more messages to global audiences, and with the aim of getting more society members involved? Because there are so many community members who may not even be aware of what kind of things are taking place in the world, because maybe they're not. So maybe media could be utilized as one of those platforms. What are your thoughts on that, Judith?
Definitely. We have been working very hard in planning our attendance at COP28, in having a strong media campaign so that we can get our messages across to all the audiences that we need to. And we've had a Rotarian here, Chris Nile, who is a professional PR person who's been supporting us. We've been sending out our messages daily and throughout every day here on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and we're actually getting a tremendous response. We've also been recording every session because we've had these global speakers, real world leaders, and we're very proud actually of the caliber of speaker that we've had at our sessions. And as I think Neil commented, we've had a lot of very positive comments saying, 3 or 4 of our sessions, people have said that's the best session I've been to at COP28. And so we're promoting all of these, and it really is important. It's also important, as it is with the polio campaign, that you don't get misinformation and that you have a strong media campaign to get out the correct information. And that's where the media can play a part.
Very true, very true. And yourself, Judith, how do you see this? What are your key takeaways from this particular COP28? Because you've been there at all the previous COPs as well. Well, how do you think? How do you see things have progressed, developed, or how has it been this time around for you?
Well, I think it's been a complete step change for Rotary International. the previous two COPs, we were building each time that we've attended. In Glasgow, we started with a small delegation of 4. We came out with an amazing project, which Chris has been leading on. The results of that was 36 mangrove projects in 26 countries, supported by global grants from the Rotary Foundation in the region of $2 million. In Sharm el-Sheikh, we had more work on mangroves and other things. The Egyptian government there pledged $50,000 towards our mangrove work. I think here it's been different, and it is a step change. And it's all about developing partnerships to do bigger and more impactful work. And I think the coming together, particularly of the Mississippi River and the Ganges River, memorandum of understanding, that is really, really important. And it can also be a template for other areas. And in fact, as you know, Honey, we're working on a project with the Lord Mayor of London, Michael Manelli. In fact, he was one of our speakers at our climate and finance session. And we're working on a project with him on seagrasses. And we could bring the Thames into this global partnership of rivers that are arteries running through countries. And so I think it's got huge potential. For me, this has all been about partnerships and developing and strengthening the partnerships we have. Of course, here we've had speakers from WHO, we've had speakers from UNICEF, speakers from Gavi, all 3 of them partners in our polio program, but they were speaking here in relation to climate and health. I think climate and health is going to be an ever-growing topic and increasingly important. But I think the right step has been taken here by the UAE government and by the UNFCCC, in that we've had 10 theme days covering actually all areas of the SDGs. It's not just about climate and the environment. It's about everything we do. Climate affects everything we do. It affects young people, old people, people living in all areas of the world. Some areas are getting drier, some are getting wetter, some are getting hotter, some are getting colder. It's it does affect every aspect of all our lives. And I think this COP has actually grasped the mettle and recognized that. And I hope this will be taken forward by the Azerbaijan government, who will be hosting COP29, and also by the Brazil government, who will be hosting COP30, because it does affect everything. And this is why it's great that Rotary International is involved right across the board, not just with 1 or 2 ranks, but it's all of us together, working together. And I've been really proud of the team that we've had here, of Rotarians, working together as a team, coming with all our different levels of expertise and projects. It's just been very heartwarming.
And incredible, and I really congratulate you as well, Judith, because you have a real integral part in this, and you've played a really great role in ensuring that our COP28 has been as successful as it has been, through the Rotary International. And best of luck for all the wonderful work that you're doing as well. So keep up the great work. I feel that if we have more leaders like you, then I think definitely we are going to be progressing. And one person in the world can change the world. Like, for example, let's say Gandhi, changed the Indian, future or something. You can have one person who can also have the passion and the vision to go out there to make huge changes. Rotary eradicated polio. One person had the vision, and look where we are now. So Judith, congratulations for your really amazing work. And of course, the team from Chris and Neil as well. We are now moving live to COP28 to find out a little bit more about what Shailendra has to say about what's going on there, right there. So thank you, Judith. We're moving on to Shailendra. Hi, Shailendra. Hello.
Hi, honey.
How's everything going there in COP28?
It's the footfall is a lot less than what it was. And I can already see many of the booths and the pavilions. The exhibitors are now wrapping up, but the youth are still around. They're meeting, they're networking, they're lobbying, they are waiting for the final negotiations. So yeah, I think the negotiations will go on pretty late into the night. There is a lot of pressure for an agreement, and we'll have to wait and watch. So before we anticipate or try to see what the negotiations are doing, I'm standing right now at the pollution pods, an outdoor exhibit that has been set up here in the middle of several of those buildings. And it's a very experiential, interesting concept. I'm going to step back for you to be able to see what this is. These are kind of domes that have been created, and they are emulating the air quality environment across various key cities of the world. And as you enter one of them, they can actually experience what it is. And before we go into the emulation for three of them, simulation of three of the cities, they have this is an initiative of three organizations coming together. It's called C40 Cities, Clean Air Fund, Bloomberg Philanthropies, and Breathe Cities. So Breathe Cities actually have their office in London. Very interesting for me. They have estimated $107 billion in avoided hospitalizations and deaths because of their clean air fund. I don't know how they've calculated it, but there's a very interesting screen where when I think Judith was speaking, not with the intention of distracting her, I was playing around with this screen where you can enter different cities. It's a browser, and it shows you that particular city. New York, for example, on screen, 40% over the safe level. How many health and birth, how many annual deaths happen from air pollution? So this is a statistic right in front of us that hits us hard. I'll try to look up the city where Stefan has his home, Corsica in France. It showed me 22,000 deaths, but not exactly Corsica, a nearby region. I entered my own city, Delhi, and then Mumbai, and it showed me 1.7 million deaths. It's crazy. Wow. But it doesn't show if it's annual or till date, but it's really hard hitting. So this is a good one to make people aware, because it kind of shakes and wakes them up. And I'm going to walk into the other pod. Can you see?
Yes, I can see.
So there are three pods I'm going to walk through in live. So this is the first one, and it's stinky. It's a bit heavy to breathe, and it is so definitely. Obviously, I've compared it to where I was, which is in Dubai. This is pollution in London. Air quality index 52, and so they've also installed some books and materials for people to read. There are coolers and heaters and all that, which are controlling the temperature and the air quality. I'm walking into the next one now, which is Delhi, 156 as an air quality index. Oh my God, I can't wait to get out of here. It's hot, it's humid, it's very pungent. And I can see condensation on the walls inside, all around. Very uncomfortable. They put a very heavy duty heater here to simulate the conditions, the temperature and everything.
Yes. Wow, this is amazing.
And it shows the main pollutants in that city: particulate matter, 154, nitrous oxide, sulfur dioxide, and ozone. All of those statistics are there. And it also shows averages and a graph across those many days. The third and the final city I'm going to walk through is, I can't see anything here. Can you see the level of mist?
Wow,
it's barely 4 meters in width, 5, maybe 6 meters. And I can't see. I hope it's visible also on the screen digitally.
Very smoky, yes. We can see it very smoky there, yes.
Any guesses which city I am in?
No idea. Go and tell us.
Okay, let's find out. It's Beijing, 141 air quality index, nitrous oxide, sulfur dioxide. Oh my God, it's horrible. Look at this machine which is pumping out these fumes, the pollutants, all of that. And I can't wait to get out of here.
Get out, Shailen. Don't stay there.
Oh, I need to live.
Yes, Stefan, let's get Stefan on board. Oh my God, Stefan, thank you, Shailendra. That was so amazing, because I really believe that people need to be there at the COP events, because they can really experience. But seeing the kind of I don't know what you call those little hub things. Looks amazing. I didn't realize Beijing was one of the most dirtiest and most polluted cities. So something I have learned as well. Stefan, what was it like for you? Because I mean, Shailendra is so amazing when it comes to doing all these live updates. You have also been there in COP28 throughout these days. Tell us a little bit about what are your thoughts today before we finish off and ask each one of our guests to perhaps give their final comment to finish up for today.
Well, as has been said before and yesterday, we're all waiting for this final COP statement. We know it takes a long time to get there. Hopefully, there will be some statement about fossil fuels. We don't know exactly what. Yeah, that's very important. We were in some at the Commonwealth reception yesterday evening with Shailen, and we were talking to young climate advocates and activists. They were shocked that when we told them that there is only 1 year left to make the right decisions and really implement a sensible agreement on climate change at the international level, because individual actions can do half of the job, but not entirely. Half of the climate impact is at the hands of climate leaders, and they have to decide today or tomorrow to get their act together, because otherwise it would be once more a missed opportunity, and probably the one before last, maybe COP29 can make the right decision on time, but it's unlikely that we can avoid catastrophic climate change if we don't get the right decisions really implemented before 2025. This is what IPCC has been saying for 10 years or now, and we're still not there.
Yes, we're still not there. But do you feel that whilst you've been there, progress has been made, and also to have wonderful people like the youth as well, who are getting more actively involved? They are our future generation. So if we get more young people involved, then they'll become the future leaders, and they'll make better policies. And, you know, do you feel that is a positive step?
These were the words of Patricia Scotland, the Secretary General of the Commonwealth. Progress has been made, but it's not enough.
But it's not enough. So we need to get a little bit more progress happening. Let's find out from our live interview here, right from COP28. Shailendra, what do we have to say there?
Yes. So I have Madison with me from this amazing booth, which is labeled as Generation Atomic, Gen A. They have made a game called Megawatt. Oh, yeah. And it sounds super exciting, but let us have Madison tell us what's happening here and how was your experience?
Yeah, so my name is Madison Schroeder. It's nice to meet you all. I am from the US. I'm a political science PhD candidate in the US, and we're here at COP talking about nuclear power as a reliable, baseload, carbon-free source of energy that we think needs to be a part of the climate solution. But we're also talking about a game called Megawatt. So Megawatt is a card game that is used to increase electricity and energy and climate change literacy to young audiences. So the goal of the game is to build out an electricity grid that maximizes power and minimizes the impact on the climate. The target age for this game is 10 and up. It's used in educational scenarios. You can use different energy sources that have minimal amounts of power, but a high or a very low impact on the climate, or a high impact with high amounts of power. And we've been giving away copies to delegates and members of people here at COP to hopefully spread the word about quality energy education worldwide.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Great. My God, Madison, I love that game. It's such a great, I would say, invention, especially a lovely, very nice initiative. And I am really up for educating young children about, the climate. And this is a fantastic way. Well done, and good luck with that. I think
Thank you.
You need to take a photo of that, share it with us, and we can share it on our social media to get more to be, I would say, they're made aware about this wonderful game. Thank you, Madison. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Madison.
So Shailendra, we're running out of time now, so we're going off to invite every single guest of ours to finish off with a special message, whatever message they would like to give, a final message. So let's start off with if Kathy's there, Kathy's there with her video. Kathy, if you'd like to come on board and give us a final message for today, what shall we leave our global audiences with from you?
Thank you for such a wonderful program. And just remember, everybody, the transformation of the economy will not be linear. So hold on to your seats. It's going to change very soon. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's move on to Judith and see what she has to say. Judith, any final messages for our audiences?
Thank you, honey. Yes, I would just encourage everybody to take one action to help with climate change.
Oh, very nice. Very good. And I totally agree with you there, Judith. If we can all come collectively on board for this, then we can make a difference. If we can all plant a tree, each one of us, just one tree every single year, that would be in our billions coming back to move towards the 300 trillion trees that we have lost. So, Judith, thank you so much for that as well. It's such amazing work. Keep up the great work. If Chris is there, would he like to share any final messages? Hi, Chris.
Yeah. Certainly, planting trees is excellent. I don't believe that planting trees is going to be the complete solution. It's going to go part way there, but not the full way. And we can just plant as many trees as we can. Stop cutting down trees. We're cutting down many more trees. 10 to 20 times more trees are being cut down every day than anybody is planting in a year. So we've got to really address this in a major way. Thank you.
We have Neil as well. Neil, any final messages from you?
No, I just want to thank everybody for their participation and recognize that the underdeveloped countries like Haiti are the ones that are going to be suffering the most in this. So they're at the forefront of the actions that are necessary to drive this forward.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Thank you. Just wanted to move on to Stefan as well. Any final messages from these wonderful messages that we're getting from everyone, Stefan?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a call to action. If you don't know what to do, you can check our website or ask us what you can do individually and what you can ask your leaders to do. There are 12 priority actions that we have defined at Saving Our Planet. And we've also identified the 4 most impactful climate actions and the 4 climate risks. So if you need a summary, just ask us and we'll send it to you.
That's Saving Our Planet. Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Stefan. We move on to Shailendra now. Shailendra, a final message from you. A short little message. Hello, you're on mute, Shailendra. Yes, thank you.
Sorry, I missed the question. I'm back with you.
Any final message, just a one-liner of what you would like to leave the global audience with?
The final message is the same as it was yesterday, as it was day before. All hands on deck. Everyone must contribute. The final message doesn't change, and we really need to do more than what we are already doing. It's stupid of people to just sit back and think somebody else will solve it or that they still don't believe it. The science is very clear, and climate change does not respect any borders. So all hands on the deck is the message.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you, dear Shailendra. You're always so fantastic when you're on. We've got one last program tomorrow, so we're really looking forward to getting all the latest.
I'll be compiling a significant report of what my experiences and connections and outcomes have been. What I also wanted to share with Judith, I was looking for you today at the Rotary booth. They said you will be here at 3 p.m. and earlier as well, but I think you don't live too far off from where I am. So maybe we connect in London.
Absolutely. Well, here we go. We got introductions even on our program, the COP28 live program. Thank you, Shailendra, for that. Thank you very much. So we are now coming to the end of our program. You have tuned into, of course, the COP28 live updates and interviews program brought to you by Rotary and Saving Our Planet. It's been supported by International Association of Human Values, Healing Our Earth, and No CO2. So with that, I'd love to invite our lovely and most wonderful Charles, my co-host, to come on board and maybe start the program before we say goodbye to our audiences. Charles.
Okay, thank you to all our audience, thank you to all our speakers, and thank you, Honey, for this opportunity of just summarizing the discussion. Well, what do you think? Are the media reporting COP28 too negatively, as has been suggested here, or as Shailen and Stefan have said, should people be doing much, much more on taking one action? So which way is it? But what I was very pleased to hear about today is I thought Chris gave a wonderful description of how Rotary are working with big organizations as tugs, trying to steer these big organizations to the right decisions. I was very, very pleased to hear such amazing progress from Rotary running 30 sessions here at COP28 and getting great interaction from the presenters, from the visitors, and for businesses. And how this is not just about climate. There are so many problems in the world, so it's good to hear that what started with the focus of climate is also working to make improvements with youth, health, water, food, and so many other areas. I like the emphasis on cooperation and collaboration. This is something we can all do. Shailen, thank you so much for the demonstration of air quality. This was quite amazing. Stefan brought us back to the importance of 1.5, which is going to be decided within the next 18 or 24 hours or so. And the feedback from Baroness Scotland at the Commonwealth meeting saying that progress has been made, but not enough. So I'm with everyone here who said that more needs to be done. Let's everyone take one action, which is more than people are doing now. And my plea is, please let that action be a big, impactful action. And if you want it to make it more impactful, then collaborate and cooperate with someone else. And a big thank you for Chris Puttock for putting on the table the importance of planting trees, which is absolutely what we support. And be pleased to take your donations for this through Rotary. Thank you so much to everybody. Honey, thank you so much. Back over to you.
Thank you so much, Charles. As always, we really look forward to hearing your summaries at the end of the program. We have overrun today, so sorry about that, dear global audiences, but we've been getting amazing feedback from you. Thank you very much for all your positive messages, and thank you for also sharing with us that you're enjoying these programs and being educated in so many different topics. So thank you once again to all our special guests who joined us here at the Live 28, I should say COP28 live interviews and updates. I'm Honey Kalaria here. You were listening to my co-host Charles Appleby from Saving Our Planet. I'm a district chair for the Rotary Committee, and my aim here is to be a volunteer, as the rest of us are here, to support areas which are relating to the environment, protecting the climate, protecting biodiversity, wildlife, and really doing whatever we can to make this world a better place. We only have one planet, one Mother Earth, so I think we do jointly need to come together collectively to make a difference. So even if you can just share the button, just the links with your friends and family on your platforms so they can get to know more about what's going on in the field of the environment, that would be also much appreciated. So with that, I'd like to say a goodbye from Honey Kalaria here. Enjoy, and let's see if me and Charles can do a special goodbye together as we always do. A goodbye from both me and dear Charles.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you. Thank you.